What is this? Fox News? I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch TV, period. Uh, it doesn't really interest me. All the shows on TV seem to represent men as bumbling oafs, and the TV shows all seem to be woke garbage. It cares more about diversity and representation of supposed minority groups. Minorities where? In America? Instead of actually focusing on quality storytelling. So, yeah. But anyway, and by the way, once they got rid of Tucker Carlson, I didn't give a crap. But anyway, FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. The FAA wants the FAA wants to hire retarded people and mentally ill individuals, or they want the airlines to do so. I guess when you talk about the FAA, you're talking about like air traffic controllers and such. Isn't that who runs the air traffic controllers and all that? Wait a second. The FAA is going to hire mentally ill and retarded air traffic controllers? Really? Doesn't an air traffic controller have to be able to think pretty good on their feet in real time and have some decent level of analytical and calculative ability? Do we want retards with 75 IQs? Is 75 a retard? I guess 70 is a retard. I don't know. It depends on what metric you're using. But do we want people with a 70, 75 IQ controlling air traffic? Psychiatric disabilities? What exactly are we talking about here? Let's get into this story. This is interesting. The Federal Aviation Administration is actively recruiting workers who suffer from severe intellectual disabilities. Could they be more specific? I mean, are they actually having a quota where, like, other groups of people, like Whitey, that's not mentally ill, is excluded? I mean, it has to be exclusionary, right? It has to be exclusionary because if they're focusing on hiring more workers with intellectual disabilities and psychiatric issues, that would mean that they would have to be excluding people that didn't have those issues. This is strange, very strange. And psychiatric problems and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative. So there's got to be some kind of quota involved. Like you have to hire X amount of this people, Y amount of them. Spelled out on the agency's website. That's crazy. That's insane. Why would you want to hire people that right off the bat have these kind of issues? Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing impaired. This sounds awful expensive to me. What if you hire somebody that's hearing impaired and they want a cochlear implant? Those cost a lot of money. If you're hearing, I'm confused. How do you do your job as effectively if you're deaf? Vision impaired? Blind people? What the hell job? I mean, I guess there's jobs that blind people can do, but I would think you'd need to see to work for the FAA, wouldn't you? By the way, the kind of, I mean, I know there's like gear and equipment that, Braille, like keyboards or like Braille readers that the Braille is constantly changing and you can use your fingers to read it, kind of like text on a screen. But it sounds expensive to accommodate those individuals. People missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis. I don't reckon these people would be awfully productive. Epilepsy? Severe intellectual disability? I don't know that that would necessarily affect their ability. The people that work for the federal government don't seem all that bright to begin with. And psychiatric disability and dwarfism. Dwarfism? Okay. The initiative is part of the FAA's Diversity and Inclusion Hiring Plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving the FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. What the hell does a dude with no legs have to do with ensuring safe travel? What's the correlation between those two? across our nation and beyond. The FAA's website shows the agency's guidelines on diversity hiring were last updated March 23rd, 2022. Shouldn't the only criteria be that you're qualified for the job, regardless of your disability? I mean, I don't care if they hire somebody that's got no legs, as long as they can, like, do the job, or the accommodations required for them to do the job are not overly costly to the taxpayer. But hiring people based on some kind of quota requirement, that means you're going to be excluding people who are more qualified. Because the pool of people that don't suffer from these ailments is so much larger that there's no way you're not going to be excluding more qualified people. This is so stupid. The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg. I should have known. Department of Transportation is a government agency charged with regulating civil aviation, employs 45,000 people. All eyes have been on the FAA and airline industry in recent days after a plug door on a Boeing 737 MAX 9 blew out during an Alaska Airlines flight on January 5th. I talked about that on my channel, by the way. Go to my channel and click videos. You'll find the video where I talked about that and the brave and awesome and empowered team of all female engineers working for the company that made that door plug and the fuselage that it went into. But I'm sure that had nothing to do with the fact that it blew out. The FAA grounded all 737 MAX 9 planes after the incident and is carrying out extensive inspection and maintenance work. Yeah. They already know the answer, by the way, but they're not going to tell you until, something pops up in the news that'll catch your attention enough for them to secretly release the results. Yeah. On the down low, the FAA added it would increase its oversight of Boeing, even though it wasn't Boeing. Boeing did, supervise and undertake the final construction, but it was another company, a subcontractor, that actually built the fuselage itself. Its oversight of Boeing in the wake of the incident, including auditing Boeing's 737 MAX 9 jetliner production line and companies that supply parts to the airline manufacturer. Yeah, a little late for that, huh? Following the incident, social media commenters and public figures have said that the airlines and airline manufacturers' emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, has made flying less safe. Well, duh. That's just common sense. You don't need a study to tell you that. Do you want to fly in an airplane where they prioritize DEI over your safety? Elon Musk wrote, no, I'm not flying anywhere, man. I mean, I have nowhere to go anyway, but if I did, I'd drive. I don't care how far it was. I'd grow wings if I had to cross the ocean. I'm not flying on any planes right now. The DEI rot in the airline industry is way worse than you think. Daily Wire commenter Matt Walsh wrote in an op-ed last week. Critics of such commentary have pushed back on the argument that prioritizing DEI has made traveling less safe. Well, of course it has, because you're prioritizing DEI and not safety, you idiots. A civil rights group slamming Musk, for example, for the abhorrent and pathetic tweet. Yeah, of course. Morons. On the FAA's website, the agency states that people with severe mental and physical disabilities are the most underrepresented segment of the federal workforce. Yeah, because there's things like standards. We don't want to hire nut jobs and retards to work jobs that need an above-average IQ, or at least an average IQ. Because diversity is so critical. Why? Why is diversity critical? What diversity are we talking about? Diversity of thought? No. We need black, we need white, we need Indian. Well, we don't need white. We don't want white. There's too many white people. So we need less white people. That's what diversity really means. So, okay. Yeah. Why is it critical? FAA actively supports and engages in a variety of associations, programs, yada. Translation, the government is woke as fuck. When asked for comment on the initiative, including what roles people with disabilities would fulfill, the FAA told Fox News that the agency would thoroughly seeks and vets qualified candidates. But qualified candidates, but the qualifiers are they need to be a minority. You need to ask the question, what are their qualifiers? Black? Dwarf? Retarded? Oh, great. The FAA employs tens of thousands of people for a wide range of positions. I mean, I guess the retards could do like the luggage loading. But don't a lot of retards have like physical impairments as well? And they die young, especially the ones with Down syndrome. I don't know how effectively they could do that job. From administrative roles to oversight and execution of critical safety functions. Do we really want intellectually disabled people in these key positions. Like many large employers, the agency proactively seeks qualified candidates, as many sources as possible. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The aviation industry has a responsibility for traveler safety. Yeah, they don't seem to care as much about safety as virtue signaling. Unfortunately, identity politics is creating opportunities for so-called oppressed groups by lowering standards for entry into those fields. Yeah, bigotry of low expectations. You're not helping anybody, and thereby endangering the safety of those which is designed to serve. Some endeavors simply do not lend themselves to identity politics. I would say none, honestly. The FAA's website outlines that some managers can hire disabled people and veterans through an on-the-spot hiring process. On-the-spot hiring? Isn't it like really difficult, generally speaking, to get a job at the federal government because it's so cushy and good and the benefits are so wonderful? I've never heard of on-the-spot hiring for government jobs, especially with the federal government yet, or even state government. But they're going to hire retards and disabled people on the spot because they're retards? Oh, Jesus. Great. Reasonable accommodation at the FAA ensures that employees with disabilities have access to accommodations that suit their needs. Oh, that's wonderful. More tax dollars down the drain. This could include modifications made to existing facilities or special equipment. I'm sure that the global bankers love this. The government's going to need to borrow ever more money to put in special equipment to accommodate these people. That's just wonderful. So there you go. Pete Buttigieg's, FAA, hiring retarded people and, mentally ill people and people that are at risk of offing themselves, so they're more likely to off you as well in the workplace. Lovely. That's great. Great. That's what you get under Biden. Yeah. Hope you idiots out there that elected that moron are happy. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What a joke. What a joke.